and do what you say. Say what you do and do what you say, and it'll all work out. And you just keep them folks. They'll be a client for life if you stay up with them. Do the
Take
right
notes,
thing.
people. This is
There you
coming
go.
from a top producer right here.
There you
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is the Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome back to the Closing Table. My name is Kevin McIntosh. Joining us on this very special episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Rich Eisiminger. How you doing, Rich?
We're doing great, Kevin. How are you?
Man, just wonderful, man. Ready to learn some things from you and your knowledge and your wisdom in real estate, man. Let's get straight into it. Over 30 years experience in real estate. First and foremost, let's put some respect on that, man. I want to ask you, out of the time that you spent in real estate, what has been or what has created the biggest shift in the industry since you've been active?
Well, simply put, it's the technology, right? So when I started, we didn't have a fax machine, So when the fax machine came along, it was like the technology of today, of that day, is being, wow, this is really cool. And so we went from the fax machine to the pager, to the cell phone, to the smartphone, to all the other tools, email, website, software, PC, and it's been a trip, and I still enjoy it. I'm not a high techie guy, but I'm not lost in it. And a lot of older guys that have had 40 years into experience just kind of has got out of the industry because of it, kind of chased them away. But I find it interesting.
Yeah, man, you brought up the fax machine, the pager. Oh, you kind of took me back. I was right there on the edge, like the pager growing up. I remember adults having pagers.
It was actually the loss of my private time. When you had the private time, back in the day after 5, 6 o'clock, it'd be hard to catch me. Now they could page you at 11, and then then they start calling you at 11, and it just it really never stopped from now. Now we're open. You see all these. I open from 9 to 9, but you can see everybody is open 24 hours, right? So your social media is brought you to like 24/7, which
overexposed in a way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put that down. I'm not open 24 hours, man. I gotta sleep. I gotta sleep.
Of course. So you also attended the Detroit Carpenters Apprenticeship School. I didn't even know this existed, man.
I did.
Why was this important?
Well, back in high school, that's what I was one of those kids that I could learn, but I really didn't want to. And my parents, who are both educators, said, "You're going to try out this vocational school." And we built a home. And my senior year at Westland John Glenn, graduate 1978. And I built a home for most of my hours of class. I had 2 class hours, and the other 3, we built a home from the ground up. It was a great learning experience. And from there, I went into that apprenticeship school to get my journeyman's card, which I did end up getting, and learn how to build a house from on a framing. I was more of a framer at that time, but I knew the whole process of how to build a home. So as your question was asking, it taught me, it's just, to be able to know what a house and how it's put together helps yourself, right? And I don't sell a home, but they're looking for me for education about a home, and I can speak, honestly on, the cost of things and why things are not working right or what doesn't look right, that kind of thing. They don't rely on me because they bring in a professional inspector, but you have that initial experience of building a home from the ground up, but it can only help you.
Of course. I mean, that's like literally having a doctorate in a home. You know the anatomy of a home. That's something most realtors don't have experience knowing. Like they might know how to, put up some drywall or something, but to actually build a home from the ground up, that's a different experience.
To the weep towel, to the excavation of that hole. And then, it's fun to watch. It's fun to be a part. I have built quite a few homes in my day for others. But I don't want to jump into my history too much, and we'll keep on track with with your questions.
No, no, that's all good. That's what we're here for, man. I
Yeah,
like to hear about that. So
yeah,
I just want to ask this off course. So did you build your own home? Do you have plans on
right.
building your own, maybe like
Yes,
final home or?
nope, I built my home about 20 years ago in Canton, right on the
Mm,
northwest section, a real nice part of town. There's a lot of woods. I'm on an acre of land. I built my dream home for my wife and I, Carrie. We've been married for 43 years. Uh,
congratulations,
yeah,
man.
and then I had built houses for others back in the day, in the 90s. And then I kind of got into the brokering and marketing side of things and enjoyed that a little bit more than screaming at subcontractors. It's a tough game. I can only tell you that it's
Yep.
not that easy. Nothing's easy, but I enjoyed this part of it better than I did the grind of dealing with subcontractors, getting a construction project up and finished.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
That's
it
interesting,
definitely helped.
man.
Definitely helped the knowledge part of things to know about the house.
100%. I can only
Yeah.
imagine. So not only do you have knowledge in, carpentry, but you also have knowledge in title insurance. Are you still a licensed title insurance agent?
I am, and I have ownership in Main Street Title. And
Mm,
yes, it goes back to 2021 when I started a company called RJ Title. And just another facet of understanding the whole process. You've got mortgage, you've got title, you've got real estate,
mhm,
right? So it's all
mhm.
kind of comes together, and this is consumer is looking for that one-stop shop. I kind of like that theory, so I kind of went with it back in that day. It taught me a
Okay.
lot. Actually, did some mortgages back in the day, so I kind of understand that process a little bit. But it's fun to understand the whole process and then teach others
Correct.
about it.
Well, that's the best way to know. I mean, that way
Yeah,
you can literally
you
kind
got
of
to do it.
walk your clients through the process, even though
Yeah,
they will have to speak with an MLO in regards to their program. You can still
you
kind of
betcha.
give them some insight. They will have to speak to an inspector, but you can still give them that insight also. As you're
Exactly.
building that relationship. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, one hundred
Yeah. Yeah.
percent.
It's
So can
easier.
you?
It's easier to talk to somebody if you know something, and that just goes with
Yep.
anything, right? The
Yeah.
more confident you feel about what you're
Hmm.
saying, the you know, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, right? You're just not. Well, I have to find that out, or I have to go there, and you can do that. There's ways around it for young agents to get around
Right.
that, but you definitely want to soak it in. And I tried to as best I could with the little memory that I have left here at the 63-year-old, but I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there.
You sharp, man. You sharp,
I
Rich.
try. Thank
Let's
you.
get into the specifics of title
Yeah,
insurance for our
yeah.
audience then. What is title insurance? What's the importance of title insurance?
Well, the obviously for the title end of things, it's if you're going to sell a home or you're going to buy a home for 500,000, right? So you
Mhm.
want to know that that title, that land is free and clear of all liens. So $500,000 that seller is going to give me his property. How do I know everything's going to be, peachy keen and there's nothing behind the scenes that I don't know about? Well, that's insurance, right? So if
Right.
anything does come up unexpectedly, that insurance policy is going to cover that owner's butt because they give you a warranty deed. Well, there's the warranty, right? It's
Mhm.
insurance. That 500,000 is free and clear. So when you buy that home and you get that policy given to you by that owner, you can rest assured that the underwriter of that insurance policy is going to help you out when a claim comes due. So if something comes up, whether it be old taxes, whether it be
Yep.
somebody saying, "Hey, I never was clear to this title," that type of stuff that comes up, and it
Mhm.
does happen. And you have that insurance policy. So that's basically, in a nutshell, it's just a policy that covers the value of the home that you're buying. So you're covered with the policy from there's probably about six or seven good active underwriters that are in this state.
Right. Okay. Okay. Great insight.
Yeah,
Very important. I That's something I had to learn recently as an adult. I'm like,
yeah,
what the heck is a lien? It's just in case someone might have used their home as collateral for whatever situation, a
yeah,
gambling debt, and they really don't own the home. Or let's say,
yeah,
for an example, someone says their mother gave them the home after they passed away and the deed wasn't necessarily transferred correctly.
You
That
got
would
it.
protect you, that title insurance. So that's something
That
I
is
had to
right.
learn. I'm glad you clarified that.
Yep. Yep. And you'd mentioned here about conflict, and it's really there's processes in place, right? So that examiner that would find out that, hey, there is a cloud in the title. We have a full-time examiner that handles that type of stuff. So he's really the hammer, and then you have another sledgehammer, which is our underwriter attorney. So when there's any problem, any question about estates and trusts and probate and grandma didn't sign the deed right or things of that nature, all goes to the legal department. And if they say it's a no go, it's a no go. So
Okay.
I'm really hands off on that kind of stuff. I'm aware of it, but and it's interesting stuff. It's history. That's what
Right.
title is. It's just a chain of events that has happened on that particular piece of property. That's all ID'd by the tax ID of across the state.
Okay.
So
So I think you kind of explained this in some type of extent, but I'm
yeah,
assuming you haven't had an issue because you are a realtor and you own a title agent company, a title agency, title insurance company, I should say. There isn't some type of conflict of interest with you saying, "Hey, by the way, when you purchasing this home, you can use my title insurance company." You haven't had any issues with those, correct?
we disclose it, and what we do is say, hey, here's our prices on what we charge as a title company. You have all the options of all the others that are out there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to beat our customer service, and that's basically the backbone and service of my real estate venture and my title venture and in mortgage. I want customer service because we are in a customer I feel people person type of business, and I want to serve them to the highest level. But it's all disclosed, and they're aware of it. It's nothing that I'm trying to, do something undercover. It's
Hmm.
out there, and very much the public awareness.
Yeah, yeah. Presenting more options. I completely
Yeah,
get it, and
well, and
and it's
quick
not like
and
they have to go with your company,
correct, and quick, and
right?
just to name a few big ones, and they've been Doug Harding back in the day of Century 21 had Group One Mortgage, Interstate Title, and Century 21 today. Same owner, same
Mm.
guy, same pyramid. I don't want to say pyramid, bad word, but I mean it's a structure
Under the same
of
umbrella,
business.
right?
Yeah, and basically it's nice to have a one-stop shop, which was the ultimate goal back in the day. Getting a little older now, and now it's just focusing on past clients and referrals is 90% of my business typically in a year's time.
Hmm. Hmm.
You do a good job, they come back.
Come
I would
on,
tell
talk
that to
about it.
every young agent. Just do a good job and do what you say. Say what you do and do what you say, and it'll all work out. And you just keep them folks. They'll be a client for life if you stay up with them. Do the
Take
right thing.
notes, people. This is
There you
coming
go.
from a top producer right here.
There you
Top
go.
producer. Speaking
Well,
of top
not as big
producer,
as producers that I see out there a lot. We talked earlier, and I
yeah.
talked about you. You hear all these guys that have been in the good times, and I've been through three pretty good swings in the real estate world, and it's taught me a lot. And I think
Good.
I have a lot to offer to a client that comes and works with the Rich Realty Group. So,
Wisdom right there, man.
amen.
Wisdom
Thank
from Rich right there. You also have been acknowledged as a top producer from Real Producers of Wayne County in 2020. This is acknowledgement that not everyone gets. So let's tip our hats off to you, show respect to you, and I want you to talk about the importance of receiving this award. How important was this, or how did it
Yeah,
affect your
thanks,
career?
Kevin. Yeah, it really didn't drive business to me, but it was one that I could at least have a good article written about myself and my history and my life and my family, right? So it's all
Mm-hmm.
one in my world, and it was just humbling. It was nice to see, and then I wanted to get that information back out to all my past clients again, those ones that I've done a great job, and they are always with me, and they're part of my client base. And I was able to take that article and spread it around, and
Nice.
it was just a good thing to have happen to me. They're great over there at that publication, and appreciate them and appreciate the whole process.
Nice, nice. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
good acknowledgement right there. Good
yeah,
acknowledgement. When it comes to buyers in your market, I know your markets. First of all, go ahead. Can you tell the people the market that you serve right now, just for clarification
yeah.
purposes?
I'm pretty much centralized in the Plymouth Canton area. I mean, that's
Okay.
where I kind of grassroots start there. But we go about a 10-mile radius is really my zeroed in area that I know very well.
Okay. So every market has its own unique features, unique, things that in that area, neighborhood, whatever the case may be. What are some of the key factors that people look for when they want to purchase a home in your market, whether it's
Yeah,
in the structure of the home or the neighborhood? What are
yeah.
some common
Well, the
qualities?
key financing is going to be a conventional buyer in this price range, and typically what happens is it comes down to my old background of contracting, subcontracting. Uh, what I can offer a homeowner is to get that home because buyers are looking for no, they don't want a fixer upper. Back in my day,
Mm.
that's what I did, and that's what a lot of people did. They put that sweat equity in. Today's world's changed in that way. They don't want the fixer upper. They want to walk into a home and be done with it. Well, and
Yep.
I don't blame them for that because they're paying a lot more than I did on my first home, which was 28,000 back in the day.
Woo.
Gave me a 1,500 square foot tri level home, 2.5 baths, 3 bedrooms, which
Whoa.
you're not gonna see that today. It
Man,
is crazy,
what?
but that's they want a turnkey, and so I can help the sellers out on that end because they've done it pretty considerably. There's been a number of times in the last 3 or 4 years. It's becoming more and more of my focused in on business. I can help those sellers out that are kind of getting out of the area, going to
Mhm.
Florida, retiring, an estate sale, that type of stuff. Really, my background has able to bring that home up to a really a nice, and bring in window still, beautiful beautiful photography, great
Oh,
company. Kudos to Brad and Window Still and you guys over there. um,
yes. Thank you
they
to our
they
sponsor,
make that
Windows
home look
Steel.
like it's a model home, and it's great to see, and I
Mhm.
love to do it for homeowners, and it's that before and after thing. They're just they're elated after our services, get them top dollar, makes the home sell a lot quicker. So that buyer, the question, bottom line, is looking for that turnkey situation in the markets that I serve. And
Right,
that
right.
that's changed a bit from the last like 10 years ago, when all we had was bank owns and short
Mhm.
sales and that type of stuff, and buyers were getting good deals on them. But now things have changed. We're in good times, and like I said,
Yeah.
uh, being through two or three good big real estate shifts of market, buyers market, sellers market, buyers market.
Yeah.
I've seen it all.
A lot of people might still be scared too to buy a fixer upper because the cost of labor and construction and wood and everything went up
You got it
in the
right.
last
Yeah,
couple
very wise.
years.
Yep, yep, right on the
Yeah.
button. Yeah, yeah. You don't know what your estimate's going to be, and I don't even, I couldn't even tell them. I can give them
Mhm.
a pretty good idea that this, and this would cost you. But it's a tough situation for a buyer to take on a project like that nowadays. Yes, lumber
Mhm.
goes inflation. Something could happen that could change the whole. Now your your budget goes way over the top, and now
Yeah.
you're underwater, and we don't want that
Yeah.
to happen for our clients.
Since we're getting into changes in the market as of recent years, negotiations between a buyer and a seller has shifted. Like you said, it was the seller's market at one point where you can pretty much get your asking
Whatever you
price,
want.
if not above asking price,
You bet.
easily.
Yep.
So besides that, can you just discuss how you handle negotiations between a seller and a buyer who may not be seeing eye to eye initially?
Sure. It 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 has truly changed, and I've seen it change over 30 years.
Hmm.
And who has the upper hand in negotiation? I don't know if one side's any better than the other, but it's always one wants to win more than the other. As
Correct.
a agent, as a negotiator in all those situations, I want a win-win for both sides. I try to convince my client I'm not out to nail the seller, or I'm not out to nail the buyer, because we're going
Mm-hmm.
to win this negotiations. I want to work with the other agent. I want to work with that buyer or seller, depending on what side I'm on, and work to have a win-win, and have the facts in front of me, have knowledge that I'm giving them, not just because I'm not going there, and try not to let it get personal. It's the worst thing you can do is start a stirring up of the pot, because
Mm.
you're upset, and you turn around and you make your seller upset because you're mad at the other agent, and you just don't want to get into all that. You want to make it
Mm.
a nice, smooth transaction. Make everybody feel that they're winning something, and it's a tough. It takes time and effort, but it can be done, and it's done a lot throughout our industry with some good agents that are out there, and I feel that I'm one of them that can pull a deal together and make it a win-win for everybody. So we have a nice closing at the end of the day. Wish we were getting back together as a full closing, but I don't know why that's happening. People are just always busy, and they can't
Right.
close out a home. It used to be we all got together, and everybody was happy. But those days are changing a little bit. They come back. It'll come back,
Yeah.
in my
No,
mind.
I
My
believe that. Yeah, I believe that in a way. I
it's
mean,
a
as people
transition.
starting to, yeah, people starting to come together more and,
Yeah,
be more in people's presence. Something that you said, I gotta ask more about.
yeah,
The negotiation can be pretty tense depending on the situation. Has there
yeah,
been a situation where the buyer and the seller just didn't see eye to eye and they were to the point to where, like, I guess it got so tense that the whole sale just washed? It didn't even happen?
for sure. Yeah, there's
Oh,
been a handful in my day, and I
oh my goodness.
can't get into details of it, but
Right.
yeah, it does happen. It does, and you can only control as an agent so much, right? I can't control the financing and what happened to their, my buyer's deal or my seller's deal, whatever the
Hmm.
case may be. I can only control what I can control, and that is
True.
the conversation, and why we aren't together, and why we can come together, and how we can make it work. That's all we can control. Things that are just not foreseen, that we know nothing about, and we can't control, is going to make some deals just go south, and then you just move on. And had a great, wise agent, David Fletcher, used to have a good comment that I always stick to, and you just say next. You just
Yeah.
move to the next one, right? You just move on to the next and let that go, and not let it bother you. As an agent's perspective, buyers and
Yeah.
sellers a little bit different, but they people move on and get on to the next thing. If they really have the motivation to sell, they sell. If they really have the motivation to buy, they buy. And you just want to be on their side and say, "Hey, I understand." Even if you don't, you tell
Right.
them you
Right. Yeah.
understand, right? And I do understand. I'm not them, and they're not me, and so we always have that conflict with. That's just people and personalities that everybody is going to
Exactly.
be faced with friends and cohorts and cooperative agents. You just it's people.
Yeah. Some will, some won't. So what next? I
Amen.
like
I like
I
that.
like that right
Can
there.
I use that one?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All
It's
right.
out
All
there.
right.
Since we talked about so many changes in real estate, let's talk about what's been consistent in real estate throughout your entire active practice. What's been consistent?
It's the consistency. Going back to that people. It's a people business. It's a personal business, right? The automation thing is coming around, and I see it happening.
Hmm.
Zillow and Redfin and things of those bigger corporations are trying to make it so you don't have to have that interaction with people, and you could buy that house without even dealing with anybody. I don't see that happening and being the true case at the end of the day, or the end of this our lifetime, or the end of humanity, right? So I think it'll come back around, because things do come back around
Hmm.
as they once were. I think that may happen and try to get automated, but I think it's going to come back, because I really think it's the largest purchase for most consumers. 95% of the people, it's the biggest, purchase in their life. I mean, And to me, I would want someone by my side that is knowledgeable and knows the business and I'm comfortable with,
Right.
and to take me along the process. How do we find a home, or how do I sell my home, uh, with everything happening in today's world? To do it on your own and just jump in there and do it with a computer and visual, and it may last, it may stick, it may be the way it goes, but I'm hoping not, because it's again, it's about that people business, and doing the right thing, being
Mm-hmm.
ethical, giving them your knowledge, being a helper, so, a mentor, basically, as they go
Right.
through this process of buying the biggest, selling the biggest, asset of their life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you pretty much answered what my next question would be. But let me just clarify. Let me just I was I was going to ask if there was anything in the real estate industry you could change. What would it be, or whatever you could control? It
Yeah.
seems like the whole technology part taking over and diminishing the relationship up from people to people would be the answer. But I'll let you take this time to actually go
Well, I,
into it.
I think that is a great tool. I'm not going to take anything away from that. It's a great tool because it brings me all the information and things that I need to do my job and be better
Mm-hmm.
at it. Right. So I don't have a problem with that. Mine is our industry itself. So I'm going to give some numbers here that may be off, but so there's 1.5 million agents in the industry a year ago or 2 years ago. Now they're dwindling down, right? So it's a big influx.
Mm.
The only thing that you need to do as a person that wants to get into real estate, because you hear about all these great big commissions that they're making, is to spend 40 hours in a book and take a test that they train you to take, and then all of a sudden you give them a business card, and now all of a sudden I'm in business. This is probably not going to make my peers too happy, but my feeling is charge more, right? Make it
Mm.
cost them more on a yearly basis to stay in the business. Make it cost them more to come into the business. So we get
Uh-oh.
higher quality people that it doesn't take their and I'm not saying because I'm in, no one else can get in. I don't want to say
I
that. I've been in
understand.
it for 30 years. I just want to tighten up our industry so that agents that are coming in take it seriously. They're full time. They got to spend a lot of money to get in the business, and they're going to spend
Right.
a lot of money to stay in the business. I think that would correct a lot of problems that we have in our industry, and I'd love to see that change. And that would be one of my things that I like to try to change. But the big franchises and the big companies, I'm an independent thinker, and those big franchises, they want numbers, so
Right.
the easier that they can make it to bring in hundreds of people, you're going to sell to Uncle Joe, Uncle Bob, Aunt Susie, and then they're out of the business.
Right.
If they're being
Yeah.
watched and mentored
Yeah. Yeah.
correctly, that's fine, but I'm not seeing that happening in our industry today. I see a lot of loose cannons out there. It's just my own opinion, and
Right.
so I thought about that one, and I just bring up the fees to where it's kind of painful. If you want to get into business, you gotta bring some money into the game.
You know
Not
what,
a
man?
bus,
Believe it or
not a
not, I
business card and a $300 fee for a test. You got to
right.
have a little bit more than that in the game.
I
That's
believe
my
you
thought.
know what, believe it or not, I understand where you're coming from and I agree with that. Let me just be transparent for a second.
Yeah.
I've explained this, but I had my license as a mortgage loan originator.
Hmm.
Initially, took the
Yeah.
class, took passed the course and
Yeah.
everything. If I'm being honest, I didn't take the time that I needed to take to actually excel in that position. As a result, I got suspended with the actual lender that I was being sponsored by at the time.
Yeah.
I felt bad, but then I thought like I know that I didn't take that time out to actively pursue this career. So those resources and everything else, it'll just go to someone else. And part of the other situation is because they charge like $1,000 fee out of nowhere. But that
Yeah.
goes into what you're saying. If I was serious, if I was active, I would have easily paid that $1,000 fee and knowing that this was for my investment. But in the back of
Right.
my mind, I know I didn't take it that serious. Now, I took a
There
lot of
you
the
go.
knowledge that I still apply today, but that probably wasn't for me. So I
Yeah.
completely kudos to you. I completely understand where you're coming
Thank you.
from.
Now, there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with that
Right,
philosophy, but
right.
I think it's a good way to thin the herd per se. I don't know if that's right in today's world. Just get it down to where we have people that really want to be in the business and learn the business the best they can.
There it is. There it is. My man, Rich, man, thank you so much for your time. I think we right there at like the 30-minute border, so I don't want to hold you up too much longer. Great conversation, by the way. Before we get out of here, do us a favor. If you have any last words and or want to tell the people how they can reach out to you, please do so now.
The way to reach me is my cell phone, the best way, 734-516-4942. And, and I would say this, that any accolades that I receive from real producer or monetary gifts that I have been, or the gifting of monetary goods, or just the good things that I have been given, I give to the glory of God, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I want to get that out there. That would be my shout out to anyone who's listening. In today's world, people are looking for things. I would say just look back to Jesus Christ and you may find your way.
A man who's confident and strong in his belief and faith. You got to respect that. Great words, Rich. I appreciate that, man.
All right,
For our YouTube audience right now watching, you got to do us a favor. If you got this far, please hit the like button, hit the share button, and also subscribe to our channel. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, any other podcast platforms, please do the same thing. Give us a like, 5-star rating, and subscribe so you can get caught up with the latest content. And like I said, Rich, we got to leave the audience with a question. You kind of sparked this question. Here, audience. Would you rather purchase a home completely online with no realtor, or would you rather go through that process with someone who's experienced? Let us know in the comments below. Other than that, we'll see you next time.